Hi, this is Aaron Aardvark Adventure Rides, doing another video while doing some essential travel. We're still on level 3 restrictions. Now, I was going to do a video about obstacle crossing, but it didn't work out so well. So instead I'm going to talk about some homemade modifications I've done to my bike. There's a couple of replacement parts I made, a couple of small modifications, and a handy little tool I made. So first up is my accessory bar up the front here. That's just a bit of 7/8 pipe, a couple of bits of flat bar welded on. Drilled a couple of holes, nice and easy. So I offset it to about 30mm. That's between the centre of the mounting holes and the centre of the pipe. That just gives it that nice little bit of clearance there. Mounted up to the screen mounting brackets. So I mount my Tough Claw X-Grip phone holder there. Now, as you can see, it's a bit smaller than normal. I'll put a link up to a video on what I did to that. Hold on a sec, I've just got to negotiate this bend. I've been asked if anything comes loose on this bike with all the off-road riding I do. And there's two bolts that come loose quite often. Now they're the two bolts that hold up all the headlight assembly. So these bolts are M8 by 30mm long, they screw straight into a bracket. So I've replaced them with M8 by 40mm bolts. So they screw through the bracket and have a fair bit of thread hanging out the other end, which I've fitted nylock nuts to so I can lock it up and they should never come loose again. I'll show you what happens when these bolts come loose. So I've managed to bend and break both my rear brake pedal and gear lever. These are made from cast aluminium. Once you bend these, they don't like to be bent back. So what I did was cut it off flush, drilled and tapped an M6 hole, and I screwed an M6 by 16 tap screw through it and made up my own lever. It's a piece of 10mm aluminium round bar, drilled and tapped an M6 hole in it, ground a couple of flats to suit a 8mm spanner, and then using a parting off tool I machined some grooves into it for a little bit of grip. It works quite well. The beauty of this is if I ever drop my bike and break it, I carry a spare in my toolkit, so I can just screw a new one on. So another thing I've managed to break on this bike is the foot pegs. I've actually broken both of them. I'll put a link up to the video where I broke the first one. Yeah, the mounting part is, these are SW Motech pegs. The mounting part is quite light aluminium and it's snapped quite easily. So I've made new ones out of stainless steel. They were fairly fiddly to make, there's a bit of work in those, but they're nice and strong now. What I learned from that is if you break your pegs with a small modification, you can actually use your pillion peg as a replacement. Now the pin for the main peg is too big to go through the pillion peg's hole, and the pillion peg's pin is too short to go through the mount. So what I've done is I've fitted my pillion pegs with M6 by 40mm bolts. If I snap the peg again, I can use the pillion peg in place of it using this M6 by 40mm bolt. If you don't like the look of using that long bolt, you can always just chuck it in your toolkit. That's there if you need it. This is well worth checking out if you can do this with your bike, if you ride a different make and model. It can make a very bad situation a lot better. Another small change I had to make when I fitted my Delkevic exhaust was the centre stand bump stop. It rested against the exhaust pipe itself. The Delkevic pipe comes with its own little bump stop, which doesn't quite line up. So I removed the bump stop off the centre stand and just bolted a little plate to it. Now the last thing I want to show you is this snap jack I made. This is a neat little tool, folds up nicely, lifts the rear wheel off the ground for you while you're on the side stand. So I got the idea of this from Honda NC 750X stuff. He did a video on how to make one. I watched his video and then it was probably about 6 months later I made it from memory, so it looks a little bit different to his, but it still does the job. So I made this out of some scrap stainless steel I found at home. And I just bought this swivel foot. So if you have any questions, just comment below. Thanks a lot for watching.